Kelly was a very funny kid. I used to call her Moose because she would just go barreling through everything. She had hazel eyes, she loved jelly beans. She was just a joy. Kelly was our firstborn, and we had taken great pains to select her name, which actually means graceful fighter. And the last thing a parent wants to see is the word memorial after their daughter or son's name. She grew up in the hospital, so her doctors and her nurses were her friends. And I can remember one day in particular when she had to undergo a bone marrow test. And it was very painful, and she cried. And when it was all over, she was able to finally sit up. And she looked at her doctor, and she said, "I love you, Fred." And she put out her arms and gave him a hug. And that's what she was like. She was a great one for telling people that she loved them. We found out that Kelly's condition changed to a very rare form of leukemia in the summer of 1976. And she died of that disease on October 5th, 1976. And we established the fund the following day.
The Kelly and Dolan Memorial Fund is a fund which helps with the uninsured needs of families who have children who are terminally, critically, and chronically ill.
The fund assists families with critically and chronically ill children, but we're not predetermined for a specific illness. We've assisted children with leukemia, cancer, Tay-Sachs. The list goes on and on.
When she was hospitalized, I was hospitalized. And it was during those hospitalizations that I got to meet so many other parents who were in similar and sometimes much worse shape than we were. And that's when we began to hear about parents who, in the course of taking care of a seriously ill child, would end up losing their jobs. And when they lost their job, they would lose their insurance benefits at a time when they needed it the most.
You don't see what happens to these families. You don't see their everyday living conditions. And Peggy knows that. She's seen them. And this is what helps her to keep going and going and going.
There's a wide range of activities and services that the fund provides, from financial assistance, which is direct financial contributions to family, to advocacy with public entities. Peggy's testified before the State House, and she's advocated for funds to become available. The Spirit of Philadelphia sponsors a fun day, and it's a spectacular day for the families with children who are sick and either chronically or terminally ill to get out for a day, be among other people in the same situation, and not feel self-conscious and not feel worried, and just have a good time.
We developed a video entitled Financial Management During Crisis. It's a 24-minute empowerment tool because it teaches families how to navigate the healthcare system.
She's been on the radio, television, in print media, videos, and has done a great job. And it doesn't matter when you ask, she'll be there and she'll be advocating on behalf of those families.
It's hard for me to believe that it's been 29 years since we founded the fund. It's even harder for me to understand that we've served over 12,000 families, and still the fund keeps growing every year.
You know, there's a saying, if you light one candle, and this is really pretty much sometimes just what we do, is we light one candle, and if you can help one family with one thing, it takes a little bit of the burden off. What we'd like to do is to be able to take a lot more of the burden from these families.